Here's a story that taught me how powerful small moments of stillness can be, and how they helped me rebuild my strength when life felt overwhelming. 3 months ago, I lost my job. I'd been working as an administrative assistant for 5 years, and while it wasn't exactly my dream job, it provided stability for me and my 2 kids. Lila's 10, Max is 4. When I was let go due to company downsizing, I felt crushed, not just because of the paycheck, but because of what it meant for our lives. We live in a modest but comfortable 2-bedroom apartment in a quiet neighborhood, and the kids have plenty of space to play. It's not fancy, but it's home. I'd worked hard to create a life for us, so losing my job felt like I was failing as a mother. Thankfully, I had some savings, and my mom had been helping out with the groceries and babysitting while I applied for jobs. Still, the weight of it all felt unbearable most days. I spent hours on my laptop, tweaking my resume, writing cover letters, and applying for jobs. By the end of the day, I'd often look up and realize I hadn't eaten or even taken a moment for myself. My daughter Lila is very observant, always has been. She's at the age where she's old enough to notice when something is wrong, but still young enough to believe she can fix it. She'd seen me on edge for weeks, snapping when Max spilled his juice, or leaving the dishes in the sink longer than usual. I didn't realize how much she'd been paying attention until she gave me the gift that changed everything. One evening, after I'd sent out my 10th job application of the day, Lila came over with a small glass jar, and the label read, "Mommy's Quiet Time," in her neat, careful handwriting. Inside were folded pieces of paper in different colors. "What's this, sweetheart?" I asked, trying to muster a smile. "It's for you," she said, beaming. "When you're feeling tired or sad, you pick one, and it'll tell you what to do to feel better." Curious as I was, I opened the jar and pulled out a slip. It read, "Take a walk." Another said, "Pray." I flipped through the notes, each one a small, thoughtful suggestion. Lila had included things like drink tea, sing a song, or even just breathe. My favorite was one that simply said, "You're doing great." I couldn't hold back the tears. "Lila, this is the most beautiful gift anyone's ever given me. Thank you," I said to her. That jar became my lifeline. The next morning, I pulled out a slip that said, "Take a walk." So I laced up my sneakers, left Max with my mom, and walked around the neighborhood. The fresh air cleared my head in a way I didn't realize I needed. Another evening after the kids were asleep, I pulled out the note that said, "Read a book." I hadn't picked up a book in years, but I remembered I still had a copy of The Alchemist tucked on my shelf. I opened it up and I got lost in the story of Santiago's journey, his trials, his resilience. As I read, I felt a spark of hope. Maybe I wasn't as lost as I thought. These small moments added up. I started drinking my tea slowly in the mornings instead of rushing through it. I prayed more often, not just for answers, but for strength and gratitude. I even took the kids to the park more often, letting them play while I walked laps around the playground, breathing deeply and letting go of some of my worries. That jar also gave me something even more valuable, a shift in perspective. You see, for weeks I had felt like I was failing my kids, but through Lila's notes, I saw that she didn't see me as a failure. She saw me as someone who was trying, someone who loved her and her brother deeply. And then one afternoon, after weeks of interviews and rejections, I got the email. It was for a position as a project coordinator for a nonprofit. The role came with better pay and more flexibility than my previous job, exactly what I needed to support my family and still be present for them. When I told Lila the news, she grinned and she said, "See, I told you, Mommy, you're doing great." That jar still sits on the counter, a daily reminder of Lila's wisdom and love. Some nights after the kids are asleep, I'll pick out a slip, even if I don't feel overwhelmed. This experience taught me that strength isn't about never feeling tired or afraid. It's about finding the small ways to refill your cup when life empties it. Lila's gift didn't just give me moments of silence. It gave me permission to take care of myself and reminded me that I am enough, even when things don't feel perfect. Thank you for letting me share this story with your listeners. I hope it inspires someone out there to find their own quiet time and know that they're doing way better than they think. Thank you for sharing your story. I definitely needed to hear that. This is Short Stories with Lola. Thank you for listening and watching. God bless.